Tyler Adams, we might have been seeing him for the first time in just about a year suiting up for the U.S. men. He's played just 6 times for Leipzig this season with injury concerns, and we asked him the other day about what he and the other American players based in Europe, how they've been dealing with this situation right now.
I would say that the Americans are definitely leaning on one another. Having the ability with technology nowadays, it's so easy to pick up the phone, FaceTime someone, and that easily takes an hour out of your day. So for myself, I'm in constant contact with guys like Weston McKennie, Christian Pulisic, staying connected with them through video games, stuff like that. It's a good way to kill time. And yeah, if you're good friends on the field, you're good friends off the field. So for us, it's a good way to stay connected, obviously, in this downtime. Leipzig is doing a great job of keeping us connected. We have the ability to go to the training ground in small groups of 2, 3, 4 people, continue to run, stay connected with the physios if we need treatment, continuing rehab. And our coaching staff has sent us videos to maintain the knowledge of our tactics, stay up to date with what's going on. Because like I said, we don't know when football will return, but it's important to stay on top of all the details day to day.
Because certainly, Stu, the stakes are high for the U.S. men. As we said, these were 2 very important games in Europe. You've got World Cup qualifying theoretically, potentially beginning in September. What's at stake here, and how does Greg Berhalter and his team sort of sort through this period, make sure the team is ready to go for World Cup qualifying?
I think the reality in which we're looking at here, John, is that Greg Berhalter's not going to get as much time with his team as perhaps he wouldn't have previously, which was already minimal compared to the club environment and how often you actually see these players on a day-to-day basis. What number of games will they have played at that point? What number of high-level games? How much training will they have done? How much time between? These are all questions that I don't think we have any type of clue towards. The things that you can control right now are things like Tyler Adams is talking about there. Working on their individual programs, training, keeping yourself fit, holding yourself accountable, teams holding yourself accountable. And then ultimately, I think right now, the way that qualifying as we knew it previously will look differently. You'll still have the hex, but is that jammed into a tighter period? Do you do it almost in an 8-week period where you play all these games and you try to knock it out in between these off seasons that we're going to have to see inevitably in the club game? I think that's going to be the interesting part of this.
From a professional athlete standpoint, this is all relative in that all professional athletes are in the same type of situation. Now, how they deal with that situation, that's what's going to separate athletes. And we all know that, especially when it comes to elite athletes, they're all looking for an advantage. Now, back in my day, back in the 1900s when I was running around, for example, an off season, back in 94, Stu, an off season, you would be out of sight, out of mind. And then you'd show back up at preseason and spring training, whatever it ended up being, and you would get in shape. Now, that has gone out the window in that good players, elite players, but just good players recognize that they can't just sit around drinking and eating in the off season. In the same way that right now, I think elite players and even good players are saying, you know what, at some point this is going to end, and I want to be in the best possible position to take advantage. Now, they have a whole lot of other resources at their disposal, and they are being monitored, so the coaches know exactly what's going on, and they're professional and they are mature regardless of their age, whether it's a Tyler Adams or anybody else. I think they recognize the things that I do right now are going to benefit me and ultimately my team. And if I don't do these things, then when this does come back, we are going to be behind the 8 ball, and that's going to be a problem, not just for the individual player, but for the team and the club.
For the best soccer content anywhere on the internet, follow Fox Soccer on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.